Welcome to another explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle a massive myth in the world of personal finance. You see, thanks to a little behavioral quirk called anchoring, most of us tend to anchor our entire investment strategy to just one, honestly, pretty meaningless number, our chronological age. But focusing solely on how many candles were on your last birthday cake, that's really only giving you half the story. So today, we're going to dive into a highly practical, life stage-based framework that's going to completely change how you view your portfolio. Okay, let's jump right into this. You've probably heard the traditional rule of thumb, right? The one that says you take the number 100, subtract your age, and whatever number you're left with is the exact percentage of your portfolio that should be in stocks. It sounds incredibly simple, but think about it. Should a 25-year-old and a 45-year-old really invest differently just because they were born in different decades? By the end of this explainer, you're going to see exactly why that old school rule is flawed, and you'll walk away with a clear, step-by-step framework to figure out what investments actually make sense for your life right now. To put this into perspective, just imagine two 30-year-olds. One is a single professional, absolutely zero debt, renting a nice apartment over in Makati. The other is a 30-year-old parent of two, actively paying off a mortgage and also supporting their aging parents, a classic sandwich generation scenario. Now, if we only look at their age, both of these people get the exact same investment strategy. But in the real world, your income stability, your current debt, and your family responsibilities dictate your true risk tolerance way, way more than your birth year ever could. Now, before we map out these different life stages, let's quickly define a term we're going to be using a lot today: asset allocation. I want you to think of your investment portfolio literally like planting a garden. You obviously wouldn't plant just one single type of seed, right? You want a variety: some tomatoes, some roses, maybe some herbs. In the finance world, those seeds are your stocks, bonds, and real estate. By diversifying this financial garden, if one type of plant struggles because of a bad economic season, the others are still there to thrive and keep you fit. Asset allocation is simply deciding what percentage of each seed to plant so you can actually sleep soundly at night. All right, let's look at stage one, the foundation years. This is when you're navigating your 20s. During this phase, your absolute biggest asset is not your salary. It's your time horizon. Because retirement is decades away, you've got this massive runway to let your money grow and, crucially, to recover from any market bumps along the way. All that time allows you to harness the magic snowball effect of compound interest. As your money rolls down a very long hill, you're earning interest not just on your original cash, but on the interest it's already picked up. Starting this early absolutely crushes our natural present bias. You know, that psychological urge to just spend everything we have today, and instead lets your money do all the heavy lifting for you. Because you have so much time to bounce back from market volatility, the consensus for this foundation stage is to be highly aggressive. We're talking aiming to allocate around 90%, sometimes even up to 100% of your portfolio into equities, which are stocks. You'd keep just 10% in bonds and liquid funds for emergencies. Equities offer the absolute highest growth potential over long periods, and at this stage, aggressive growth is your ultimate goal. To actually fuel that growth, experts universally agree you should aim to save and invest about 15% of your pre-tax salary early on. And hey, if you're on a shoestring budget right now, just start anywhere. Utilize programs like the Poggy IBG MP2, maximize your SSS, or just set up automatic bank transfers to a broker so you can cost average your investments in the market. Set it, forget it, and let that compound interest snowball get huge. Moving right along to stage two, the balancing act. Welcome to your 30s and 40s. Suddenly, your financial garden is facing some serious competing weather conditions. You are no longer just planning for a distant retirement. You are actively having to balance today with tomorrow. You might be juggling a mortgage, a kid's tuition fees, or caring for those aging parents we mentioned. This is exactly where term life insurance and a rock-solid emergency fund become entirely non-negotiable to protect your dependents. Also, upgrading your HMO coverage or maximizing your PhilHealth benefits is absolutely vital right now to safeguard against unexpected medical shocks. Without them, a single emergency could wipe out years of your hard-earned savings. Entering your peak earning years in your 40s means you really need to transition to a more balanced portfolio. You might shift towards a 60-40 split, so 60% in equities for that continued growth and 40% in bonds or fixed income for stability. This strikes a really vital balance. It reduces the impact of short-term market volatility, but still captures enough upside to outpace inflation. Basically, you're playing defense and offense at the exact same time. Now, there is one critical mistake you have to avoid here: carrying high-interest consumer debt. In behavioral finance, they call it mental accounting, when we trick ourselves into thinking our investments are doing great while completely turning a blind eye to the 36% annual interest bleeding out of our credit cards. You want interest growing in your own accounts, not going to lenders. Aggressively paying down this bad debt frees up massive cash flow and is literally a giant leap toward true financial freedom. Next up is stage 3, pre-retirement. Preserving your wealth in your 50s. Hitting your 50s is a crucial pivot point. Retirement isn't a distant someday anymore. It's a very real, rapidly approaching reality. Because of this, your primary goal shifts from aggressive accumulation to fiercely protecting what you've painstakingly built over the last few decades. This means maximizing your contributions to retirement accounts while you still have a high income. But equally important, dedicated healthcare planning. Securing comprehensive senior healthcare plans is critical because medical inflation often becomes the absolute biggest threat to a retiree's portfolio. And that brings us to stage 4, security and income, your 60s and beyond. At this point, the entire investment mechanism completely flips upside down. You are no longer saving for the future, you have arrived at the future. The final allocation shift heavily favors safety. You might see 40% kept in equities, which is just enough to fight off inflation and maintain your purchasing power, but 60% is now firmly in government bonds, paradistributions, and fixed deposits. These safer options guarantee a steady, predictable income stream, so you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor without losing sleep over the latest stock market crash. This entire philosophy is captured perfectly in this quote. You must transition from accumulating wealth to generating income. You're now managing your withdrawals, optimizing for taxes, and making sure your money actually lasts. This is also the exact time to solidify your estate planning, writing a will, setting up trusts, and just making sure your wealth is distributed smoothly to your heirs exactly how you want it to be. All right, let's tie this all together into your life stage framework. Let's synthesize everything into one actionable tool you can apply right now, regardless of your actual age. Here are the 4 true indicators of how you should invest. Step 1, assess your income stability. Are you peaking in your career, or are you just starting out? Step 2, build an emergency fund for liquid cash. Listen, if you don't have a cash buffer for disasters, you simply cannot afford high-risk investments. Step 3, evaluate your family responsibilities, like mortgages or dependents. And step 4, define your investment horizon. When do you actually need to spend this money? Walking through these 4 steps proves without a doubt that your life stage dictates your strategy way better than your chronological age ever could. Now, while your asset allocation will shift over time, a few timeless principles remain constant for every single investor out there. Start early to harness that compound interest snowball we talked about. Invest regularly by automating your savings straight out of your paycheck. Diversify your portfolio so you aren't completely reliant on just one single crop in your financial garden. And most importantly, review and adjust. As your life changes, whether that's a new job, a marriage, or having a child, your financial strategy absolutely must adapt right alongside it. I want to leave you with this final, hopefully memorable question to ask yourself today. Is your money matched to your age, or is it matched to your actual life stage? Take a hard look at your real-world responsibilities and adjust your financial garden accordingly. If this explainer helped you understand how to invest based on where you are in life, not just your age, make sure to subscribe because every week we break down personal finance, investing, and wealth-building strategies into practical lessons you can actually use. Follow the channel so you don't miss future deep dives that can help you make smarter financial decisions and grow your money with confidence.